Hey folks, with Crucible League starting at the end of this week, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk through my current league start plans, what I'm going to be playing, and how I'm planning on kicking off the first handful of days. So, as you can likely see from the POB that we have up here on the screen, I will be playing Toxic Rain Ballista Pathfinder for my league start. I'll be playing in a kind of Bro SF type league, similar to if you've seen what Scissorin and Steel Mage did last league. Seemed pretty interesting. I normally just play SSF, but seemed like a fun change. I, with the patch notes, most definitely am jumping on the Pathfinder hype train. It looks pretty cool. I haven't actually really played a Pathfinder before. I haven't really dove into a lot of, flask uptime type gameplay thus far, and so this seemed like the best kind of time to play it, and so I thought to myself, why not? A number of the other folks, like Scissorin even, are playing Toxic Rain Pathfinder without the Ballistas. Ballistas generally just kind of fit my personal playstyle a lot more. Could be because I'm bad, but I very much like being able to drop the ballistas and kind of just run around and do other buff, debuff type things while my ballistas are doing damage. So that seems to sort of match up with more of what I enjoy doing. So as you can see, what I've pulled up here is an example of a Toxic Rain Ballista build. This one in particular is actually Palsteron's build. He has dropped together a very nice full endgame guide. I will, of course, link to it in the description of this video because his build guide is going to be much better than anything I could ever create. I don't tend to follow a lot of builds or leveling guides or anything, too particularly hard. I think kind of the testing and exploration of a lot of the things is a lot of what I enjoy to do. So whether or not I end up doing this exact tree or something else different, who knows? We'll kind of see where the wind takes me as I sort of move forward. But regardless, this is a pretty decent outline of what we'd be looking for the Toxic Rain Ballista build. In general, this build lends itself pretty well to an SSF playstyle for a few reasons. There really aren't any particularly required uniques. There are definitely some uniques that are highly beneficial. One of the most important ones being Wilma's Requital. This helmet here. This helmet has a few things, the biggest ones being the increases and reductions to cast speed apply to attack speed. This allows us to double dip in a number of different things that provide both attack and cast speed. This is going to be things like the Haste Aura, Onslaught, Frenzy charges. So as we can see here, just removing this helmet lowers our attack rate by almost a quarter. And so the amount of additional attack speed that we get from this helmet is pretty insane. And then, of course, adding Ancestral Bond into the mix for an additional totem is definitely useful. That being said, if we're already at 5 totems, a 6-1 isn't, moving heaven and earth, but it is, of course, fantastic. It is worth noting that, even though this is a decent full DPS loss, if we were to, update it to just a very basic helmet, we're still sitting at a pretty reasonable full dot DPS, and so it is most definitely not a requirement, but it is for sure useful. A couple of the other reasons why this lends itself well to SSF or a more tightened down playstyle is it's very smooth leveling. Chaos in general has been a pretty easy way to level throughout most of Path of Exile's history, and this is most definitely no different. I'll likely start with Caustic Arrow at level 1. We'll have to see how momentum works, because at the time of recording this video, the gem information still doesn't exist, so could be awful. Who knows? But I'll take Caustic Arrow through Act 1 until getting Toxic Rain at level 12, and then I'll likely just do a duo, self-cast Toxic Rain with a Ballista Toxic Rain, essentially until the end of time, or more reasonably until I get Wilma's and move to full Ballistas, but it's reasonably straightforward at that point. And then the last factor being that most of the upgrades are pretty easy to obtain. Really we're just looking for life, res, evasion, and spell suppression. There's nothing particularly crazy. Quill Rain is a fantastic bow, given its 3 attacks per second to use for a very long time. The increased projectile speed is also very nice for quality of life. We can use a Quill Rain pretty much throughout most of the content that anyone is going to actually end up doing. But even so, moving to a +3 bow for higher DPS is also very straightforward to do nowadays. For those that don't know, it's very easy to craft one of these bows. Essentially all you need to do is use essences of misery, specifically Shrieking or Deafening, which will guarantee +2 level of socketed bow gems. You can spam that until, as you see here, you get attack speed. Then as long as you have an open suffix and an open prefix, you can roll, cannot roll attack modifiers, slam it with an Exalted Orb, and then you'll be guaranteed +1 to level of socketed gems, and then you can craft on Chaos Damage over Time multiplier. So it is very easy to obtain upgrade, and especially now with the conversion over from Exalts to Divines, it's quite easy to obtain in most cases. And aside from upgrades, there's really only a few things to look out for in the Toxic Rain build. The only other one really being, we do have a specific area of effect breakpoint that we're trying to hit. People much smarter than I have generally reported that to get the maximum number of overlaps, which is 4, we want no additional arrows and 39% increased area of effect. 39% is a reasonably easy breakpoint to hit. So if we go here, we can see area effect mod of 1.39, so a 39% increase. And the way that we get this is the bow mastery. So we see right here for 20%, 10% from the 20% quality of Toxic Rain itself, and then we can get the final 9% from a few different places. As an example here, it is on a pair of gloves. You can also get it as an amulet modifier or a helmet modifier as well. So aside from that, there's really not a whole lot else to get. You pump your flasks, you build evasion and suppression, and find ways to mitigate fizz damage, because we don't have any armor. And that can be done in a number of ways using Taste of Hate, Lightning Coil. For super endgame builds, you could look into leveraging Transcendence as well. There's a number of opportunities to be able to get there. But now that I have talked through generally what build I plan on leveling with, let's quickly talk through exactly what I will be doing once I get to maps. Voila. Okay. So this is my currently planned Atlas passive tree. Pretty standard, all things considered. Nothing particularly crazy here. We do have Essence back on the map device, which is going to be very exciting for this pseudo SSF playstyle. So I will be rushing, grabbing essences, heist, map nodes, of course, and then expedition, which is kind of an early SSF staple. I will be starting Eater of Worlds to begin with, and then my sort of one, more exotic archetype that I'll be planning on leveraging is Abyss, mostly because it seems cool. A lot of the Abyss uniques seem pretty interesting. They haven't really talked through what the different Abyss glove modifiers are, so could be cool. The new bubonic trails look awesome, so I'm just kind of interested in taking a look at that, and especially if a new or exciting build ever comes out of it. Being in this that I'm playing in a private league with one other person, we're going to want some of these uniques. So this is my current plan. The idea is that we will be using essences mostly for crafting, heist for early gear, and mostly alternate quality gems. Abyss for Stygian vises, and then any and all of the uniques that we get, and then Expedition for, I guess, pretty much everything, to be completely honest. My main focus early on with Expedition will be Gwenin, mostly because Wilma's Requital as a Solara Circlet has a required level of 59, so I will be going in for Gwenin pretty early to try and actually chance that. Same thing with Lightning Coil, which is a Desert Brigandine, and then my friend that I'm playing the Bro SF League is going to be trying to play Impending Doom, and so I will also be going for Embroidered Gloves to attempt to get some Vixens entrapments as well too. Of all of these items, most likely Expedition will be the first that I drop. Once I get a decent amount of currency, get some items with ROG, and get some of the uniques that I need from Gwenin. Once I drop Expedition, we'll kind of just see where the world takes me. And obviously, as you can see here too, this is only a 116 out of 132 tree. Kind of want to leave myself open to some number of additional options and points. As you can see here, I've blocked most everything. There are a couple of things that I didn't put any points into on the tree that I am not blocking, one of them being Harvest. In the SSF world, you kind of just have to take Harvest even if you don't like to. Being able to swap reses and do some of the more exotic crafts is very helpful. I don't care to put any points into it, but it's got to be there. And then I have not blocked Delirium as well. At least getting some number of cluster jewels. I'll likely be looking for in a passive chaos and any number of aura clusters early on, but I may spec into some additional points or some additional chance for now. But this is what we'll be looking at least to start. My plan is to release some daily update videos for all you folks. I want you to see sort of how the progression goes, what we're targeting, sort of what we're moving to. Throughout the week, I'll be looking to do at least 5 days worth, so the first 5 days of the league start. And from that point, we'll have a pretty decent basis of how far we've gotten, what progress we've made, and if we're interested in having any builds happen after Toxic Rain Ballistas. But this has been a general overview of what I'm looking to do for this league. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I hope it is a fantastic Crucible League for you.